confirmed that.
William, how would you feel?
Yeah.
Touch wood, if you lost your daughter. The state runs a DNA test, says that it is your daughter. This is before the police CID boss had come to say you will find your daughter. And then you say, I don't believe what both of you are saying because you didn't bring back my daughter as you told me. So I want to also do an independent DNA test. And you're not given the opportunity to do it. And later you hear that the person has been convicted for murder. How would you feel?
But at the end of the day, justice.
No, I've asked a question. It's not.
I mean, how I would feel. Bad, good. I don't want to answer that. What I want to
Why
answer.
don't you want to answer?
Yeah, because for me, my feeling will not be relevant in the justice delivery system. It is the fact, the evidence that would determine everything. That's what I'm saying. That I'm just appealing to the conscience of people.
You don't think that the parents should have been given the opportunity to also satisfy themselves and rest their minds by doing their individual DNA test?
If that's what the law says, why not?
About which law doesn't allow that?
I mean, you see, as soon as there's a murder case or there's homicide, the body is not given out to people like that.
Right.
So the right procedure must be followed.
But then they have a right. The body belongs to them. They will bury the body
until
anyway.
After the investigation, the body will be released to them.
Yes, but
they don't have the right to touch the body.
Of the investigation.
That's why if there's any homicide, even your house, you can't enter. It's barricaded.
That's granted. But after the police finished their investigation, they say they don't trust the investigation. So they also want to do
police. You can't just say you don't trust the police. They want to do your own
thing. They say they want to do.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that
at all.
I see. Anyway, Dr. Elliot Koranteng Tannor is a founder and director of Kidney Health International, joining us on the phone line. Now, Doc, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, good morning, Johnnie. How are you?
I'm greater than Accra, Doc. We're commemorating World Kidney Day, or International Kidney Day, if you will. Our colleague in the Central Region sent the conversation. What should we know, first of all, about kidney health?
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for the opportunity. And good morning to your listeners. What we want people to know is that today is World Kidney Day. I think that is really big and good enough that we get the opportunity to discuss the kidneys of all diseases that take over the airwaves. There's a day that we get the opportunity to talk about kidney disease. So it is so important that people know that, yes, the kidney exists. Yes, there are a lot of conditions that can affect the kidney. And unfortunately, a lot of people have kidney disease even without their knowledge. And unfortunately, a lot of people die. But the sad aspect is that even those who are dying in Ghana are relatively younger people as compared to the rest of the world. So it's so important that we have a conversation to see how best we can prevent the next person from also getting kidney disease. Yeah.
The conversations about kidneys brings me to whether or not as a country we have taken the health of our kidneys seriously, have we?
I personally don't think so. I mean, because if that was the case, probably we should be talking about it more often and not necessarily only during World Kidney Day like this. I don't think we have. And for me, who sits at the back end, who see a lot of people come with end stages where you tell them, all right, they are going to need dialysis, and unfortunately, the majority of them cannot also afford. It's really sad because you see your patient, you think you can help, but they don't have the wherewithal to be able to help them. And you watch them die and you sign their certificates and all. I mean, and the sad part, like I said, is that for relatively young people who are supposed to be economically active to help push our country forward, now will be, dying or probably dependent on dialysis, which changes virtually their lifestyle. So I think there's more we can do. But the key is that there's a lot people don't know. So when we get platforms like these, we try to educate people on at least basic things they need to know, in my opinion. At least if people know some basic things, they'll go a long way to reduce the numbers that we are seeing. Do you know that on the average, or what our statistics actually show that about 13% of Ghanaians have some form of kidney disease? If you work it up, assuming a 30 million population or 31 million population, we are over 4 million Ghanaians have some form of kidney disease. And I don't know why it is not so important a thing to discuss. I think it is. So we need to have more discussions on these conditions. So thank you very much once again.
Doc, you are a senior physician and a senior nephrologist. Is it time for us to put the dialysis and treatment of kidney stuff on our NHIS?
I think it's beyond the time. It's long overdue. I was just telling another station that, listen, I mean, other countries which we are comparable to, Kenya, Tanzania, they have it on their national health insurance. At least the government takes care of twice a week. I mean, ideally, it's supposed to be 3, but they decided, okay, listen, this is the best we can help with, so twice a week dialysis. And it makes a big difference in terms of now people who will be able to, keep themselves alive by virtue of that government intervention. And it's the same, NHIS, or they call it NHIF, that they use to be able to support. So we are strong advocates that I think as a country we can do better. Of course, now economically we are in a downturn, so it becomes difficult for you to now say something more that needs, these funds. But when we were, just there, it was so important that we did this. So I think it is, if other countries where we have this probably comparable GDPs are able to do it, honestly, I don't understand why Ghana cannot do it. And I think it should be on the health insurance. And indeed, when we talk about kidney disease, there are 2 forms. There are some that even affect acutely. So you could get into a road traffic accident, for instance, or a woman who gets pregnant at a point in time can get their kidney functions go down because of some complications in pregnancy. And in that case, they may need the dialysis for a short period of time. Even that, unfortunately, they have to pay out of pocket, and that is sad. So you get a young woman, through no fault of hers, she gets pregnant and things go a bit haywire as you are watching her because she cannot afford dialysis. That is sad. And from where we sit, it's something that definitely, we need to look at to be able to correct. It is in our books that, okay, it will be taken care of. But indeed, when you send, they don't pay for it. So eventually, the providers don't provide it. You don't pay, you don't get a dialysis done. And that's what leads to the high mortality with patients with kidney disease.
How do people get kidney diseases? Okay,
good question. So in Ghana, what we know in terms of our data is that unfortunately, again, because we know about it, that they don't come early, the majority of patients who come with kidney disease come too late. We are not even able to investigate thoroughly to try and find out what exactly caused it. But the world over, we know the big causes of kidney disease are diabetes and hypertension. And indeed, sometimes it runs in families. So through no fault of yours, your mother had some form of kidney disease, and it's one that, can be transferred to you by birth. You can also get it. So these are the big ones. But nonetheless, there are a lot of risk factors that we know account for why the increases are going on. People are taking all sorts of herbal medications with no information on its effect on their kidneys, 1. And then 2, it is also such that people are also, abusing painkillers. You have your average person after a hard day's work for the potent, painkillers, and they keep taking over and over again. And we know all of these things have effects, on the kidneys. Apart from that, there are chronic infections that we know of, HIV, hepatitis B and C, and all of that. That also affects the kidneys. In fact, when males grow beyond 50 years, we get to a point where they are not able to get the urine out, probably because their prostates are enlarged and they probably refuse catheters or they don't get surgeries done over a period of time. That backflow of blood, of urine, also tends to affect the kidney. So there are a lot of things that actually can affect the kidney. But the big ones are the diabetes and hypertension. And why I'm hammering them again is that in Ghana, for instance, hypertension is also a very common cause of kidney disease, and it's also common in itself. On the average, if you take people greater than 25 years, about a third, 30% and over have hypertension. And even when above 50 years, 1 out of 2 have hypertension, 50%. So it is that common. And again, it's such a major cause of kidney disease. Diabetes is also same. Diabetes, about 7% of Ghanaians have diabetes, all right? So now if you're looking at these numbers and they all have direct impact on the kidney, then we need to be aware of this. But unfortunately, these conditions also are ones that, just like kidney disease, when you have it, it doesn't show you any symptoms. So you are walking around, you are fine, you think everything is going on well, and so you get to end stages. So anytime I talk on air, I try to let people understand. It's just like these mobile phones that we use. As I'm speaking now on my mobile phone, until I stop to look to try and find that, it has come to 7% or it's come to 20%, or the phone now tells me low battery, depending on the kind of phone you are using. That's exactly how the kidney works. So it will work well until it gets to the low battery, and that is when they begin to have symptoms. By then, when they come to our facilities, the only discussion is, can you afford dialysis? So it is so important that people get to know that it's common. So once a while, they just check their kidneys and check for the other risk factors, diabetes, the hypertension, and all. Yesterday, for instance, we had some pre-screening done at the Takoradi Mall, where we are checking people for all of this. Because when you pick this, then they are aware and they are able to change their lifestyle or probably break down their blood pressures or their sugars. Then their risk of kidney disease decreases. And then the final part that probably I want to talk about, because there are a lot of young men listening now, when they want to take all these potency drugs to be able to sleep with only heaven knows how many women they want to sleep with. And the more they take some of these things, sometimes they have inclinations on their kidney and sometimes increases blood pressure. So we should be worried about things we put in our mouth, because most of the things we drink eventually end up in our kidneys. And when they end up in our kidneys, they might be causing some harm one way or the other to the kidneys. John.
How much does dialysis cost? Do you know?
On the average, I mean, it will cost you about 1,000, 1,200 a week to sustain yourself on dialysis. And this is just the dialysis alone, minus every other thing. So just the dialysis alone.
Every other thing like what? Every other thing like what?
So sometimes, because of what the kidney does, it brings down your blood level, okay? So they need to be on medications that will increase their blood level, for instance. They also need to keep taking their blood pressure medications or their diabetes medications and all. So all these are other direct costs. Apart from that, they are indirect costs. Before I can do a dialysis on somebody, I need to put in a very big catheter or some vascular access or something that I can use for the dialysis. It also has its own different costs, on the side. And when we put all of these costs, together, sometimes they really are really difficult for these patients. So that the direct cost of the dialysis alone, you are talking about anything in the range of 1,000 to 1,200 a week. So if you do the math in a time, probably you are doing about 4,800 or so, or 4,000, so to speak. And then how many people can afford 4,000? And that is the problem.
Talking, wrapping up, tell us the theme and if there are any programs lined up in 1 minute.
Yes, so the theme is kidney health for all. I mean, we believe that everybody should have some form of kidney, healthy kidneys, right? And then the key is that preparing for the unexpected and supporting the vulnerable. So as I spoke, I talked about people who cannot afford, and these vulnerable ones should be supported. So that's what the theme is about. So we want kidney health for all. Right?
Doc, I thank you very much for your time. Dr. Elliot Koranteng Tannor.